we've just crossed over a major milestone with Dreambase. We just unlocked something I've honestly been trying to do and chase for the better part of 2 decades. We've made interactive, really beautifully designed infographics and data stories now possible with the Dreambase MCP. And if you just look at this product report, this is a storytelling journey. It's really creative visuals. It's really easy to understand. You don't need a data analyst. This is something you could print on a poster or put on a wall. And this is just a product analytics example. We've got a database health example where we're scanning Supabase and explaining to a data engineer or a novice how they might fix the issues, what the indexing problems are, example queries that are problems. So this really makes something complex a lot more simple. And this is a fun one as well. This is actually coming straight from ClickHouse. This actually is an alternate data source that's not Supabase, and this one's, again, beautiful. It's branded with the ClickHouse yellow with the Dreambase green and telling a story about UK housing. And if you just keep on going through this, this is something that you've never really easily been able to generate dynamically on the fly with a dashboard. You would need a data analyst and designers to go back and forth forever, and it still would have been hard and taken a long time. So we're really, really stoked. I'm personally super excited. So how are we doing it? With our MCP now, as we go through this, we connect all the data sources that I was mentioning, but it's not just Postgres, Supabase, and it's not just ClickHouse. We can do MCP to PostHog, linear APIs to Stripe and GitHub and HubSpot, and that's how we stream the data in. Then we have this really brilliant caching layer using Parquet and DuckDB and all the latest and best technology for analyzing these things. And it treats them like little data cubes. Those things now are just sitting around waiting to be used. And while they're sitting there, we do pre-aggregation of your KPIs and metrics. So you don't have to burn tokens and your agents don't have to go back and forth with queries trying to figure out what your business definitions are. We actually calculate this stuff ahead of time. And then we have skills. So everybody's talking about skills right now, and we've made a bunch of great data skills. And they basically act like different personas and different data team engineers and analysts and business insights to pull out that information and do something with it. All that put together is what's called headless analytics, which is a big movement you're going to hear a lot about. Basically, it unlocks the data to do a bunch of brilliant things. How's that used? So on top of our MCP, we just open source some really, really good skills. And these skills are encompassing all of our team's data experience over the past 20 years. And that's combining times our team, that's many, many years of experience. And they all work together harmoniously with the MCP. So one of them is using ECharts, and this is seeming to be an industry secret. Nobody really knows about ECharts. Everybody uses ReCharts and D3 and certain things, but these are the most powerful charts on the planet that we've used at all of the big data companies I've worked at. You can see just all the crazy examples, and it's built to handle SVG and Canvas and millions of data points. So we use this to create those visualizations I showed you, but it's really complex for an agent. So we were the first ones to actually create skills for those. So that's the big building block. On top of that, then we go and create data visualization best practices. And this is from all the most published people in the history of visualizations and analytics. If you go through this list, there's everybody talks about Edward Tufte. There's Stephen Few that everybody talks about. We go back to publications from the very basics of visualizations, and these are kind of the historical startings of charts and visualizations and BI platforms. This is some of the origins of current best thinking visualizations. This is a famous book that everybody refers back to from Edward Tufte. Going just through here, this Stephen Few. This was always kind of the Bible that I was referred to whenever I worked in big data companies. And I especially love this publication about saving the pies for dessert. And it talks about why pie charts aren't actually good and there's better alternative charts. I can go on and on about these skills. We also have accessibility for color palettes from very well-known platforms and libraries. And then on top of that, which is a great skill on itself, we also have a data storyteller skill. Now this goes through like the New York Times graphics, Mike Bostock, the creator of D3, Reuters, 538, any of the really well-known publications that can write a story and interweave it with infographics and visualizations. So if you go down the list, there's the world famous ones, New York Times, Financial Times, Mike Bostock, Reuters. I love this World Cup visualization. It's a good example of storytelling with visuals. And then I just ran this in the background while I was going. You just reference our skills. So you give it a prompt, you tell it to use the Dreambase MCP. You can do this in Claude Cowork, Claude Code, Codex, ChatGPT, Gemini, Cursor. And then you use our skills. You see I'm referring to the ECharts skills and the visualization design and the data stories. And it makes for these absolutely beautiful visualizations. So look at this data story. This is telling basically the demographics of the Dreambase users and customers. And it's just a really nice story. It breaks it down by industries, different types of visualizations, and I can go on and on and on. And again, this is just something we've been chasing forever. And a single dashboard just couldn't do this. You know, you need a living document that actually has a bunch of space to breathe and tell the story. So this is just super creative storytelling. I've only seen a few designers and analysts that ever did anything close to this. And now you get that with Dreambase with, if you set up a couple of data sets with us and then use our MCP with these skills, that's all you have to do. So we're also working on a version of our product where it's going to expose the data sets for the agents a little bit more. So now this, you think about this as just like pre-calculated food for your agents to be able to have all the data they need to create those kinds of infographics and visualizations. How do you get started? Just go to dreambase.com/MCP. We've got our fun new graphic that I just went through there. We've got a bunch of really cool use cases that'll show you how we do things, how do we create those health reports and those different kinds of visualizations. And you can just copy the prompt and go up and running. So obviously, hopefully, you can tell I'm super excited. The team is excited. We want you to push the limits of this. We're going to be focusing on this and making it better day by day. So cheers. Test it out. Let us know if you love it. And maybe dashboards are dead. Long live headless design. All right. Talk to you soon.